All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings in tonight's video. This team is 2-0, 23-17 win, what feels like ages ago this past Sunday against one of the best teams in the National Football League, San Francisco. And a great showdown going on in 2 days from now at home against the Houston Texans. Sam Darnold's done a phenomenal job, and we know that. And it was on full display against the San Francisco 49ers, and the NFL media world finally kind of, was woken up to, oh, you know what? If Sam Darnold were to play like this against, arguably a top 3 defense in San Francisco, if you were to play like this for the rest of the season with, a healthy soon-to-be Jordan Addison, a healthy Justin Jefferson, a healthy TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Todd Chandler, maybe they could make some noise. Maybe they could creep into the playoffs. And we've been saying the whole summer, the Vikings are a lot better than you think, regardless of who the starting quarterback was going to be this season. But one thing that's really getting overlooked is this defense. Brian Flores has done a phenomenal job ever since. It's a job weird there. Brian Flores has done a phenomenal job since he came into town last year for this team, and you really saw the strides being made in the second half of last year, right? And unfortunately, it was Josh Dobbs era, Nick Mullins, Jared Hall era. So it kind of got overlooked or wiped away. So I want to talk about this defense and also a little bit of offense in tonight's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Vikings fans, love you guys as always. Guys, continue to bless every single Vikings video I have, honestly ever made in the last 2 years. But if we try and get tonight's video to 200 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So two things. They've been playing phenomenal defense, and they've been just extremely clean. They've been running the football. Sam Darnold has been an absolute beast. He's been a superstar. If that's going to go the whole season, we'll wait and see. But this defense is going to keep you in pretty much every football game you play. And we kind of highlighted it this summer, saying it was under the radar because they lost one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and Danielle Hunter. And eventually they drafted Dallas Turner. It's just funny to me even talking about Dallas Turner because this was highly touted as the best edge rusher heading into the National Football League draft. And when he fell into Minnesota's lap towards the mid-end of the first round, no one really batted an eye. It really got swept under the rug here. I was reading a great article from Alec Lewis, and he did like 5 numbers to tell you about the Vikings' impressive start to the 2024 season. Sorry, this freaking Zin, man, is driving me crazy. And we'll touch on a couple of topics and then just kind of give some takes. So number 1 was 27. That's the number of snaps per game that the Vikings have used a 4-man pass rush. This is double that amount from last season. And this just lets you get, a lot more defensive players in coverage, right? And this is something Minnesota was not able to get away with last year due to the lack of pressure. And this year it's just been completely different. And I don't care if San Francisco is missing CMC. I don't care what team is missing who. Brian Flores, schematically, this guy is a genius. He really is. And we knew this when he landed in Minnesota. But once again, due to that Kirk Cousins injury last season, Josh Dobbs was cool for like 2 games. And then, people started to realize, their starting quarterback's injured. So let's focus on all the other teams in the NFL. In 2023, there was just a huge lack of pressure. They only generated pressure on 28.9% of snaps in 2023 when they rushed with 4 guys. That was 27th, 5th to last in the National Football League. This year, they're number 2 in NFL pressure rate when rushing 4 men. That's 44.4%. And that's where you see the additions of Jonathan Greenard, Blake Cashman, Dallas Turner, Jihad Ward, Van Ginkel, like you name it. This defensive line, they're loaded. And we talked about it in the summer saying, Jonathan Greenard's coming off a career year. Blake Cashman's coming off a career year. Andrew Van Ginkel is a superstar. He's not a superstar stud, but he's a stud. He's playing like a superstar right now, but he's a stud who's familiar with this defense. Jihad Ward, Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, you name it. All of their offseason acquisitions, whether it was free agency or the draft, it makes sense when you zoom out, and it made sense at the time. So this defense has been unbelievable. And one great component, like we said in the beginning of the video, they're doing 2 things extremely well. They are keeping it clean, and they're playing great defense. So getting to the keeping it clean, the second one Alec Lewis pointed out was the number 0. That's the Vikings turnover margin through 2 games. Now, it doesn't sound too crazy. It really isn't that crazy. The Steelers currently are +5 in that metric. But this time 1 year ago with Captain Kirk, the Vikings were -6. That was the third worst in the National Football League. They ranked 30th in that statistic through 2 games last season. Now, I get it, it's 2 games, but folks, teams that have won or broken even or won the turnover margin so far 2 weeks in the NFL season this season, they've won 69% of the time. Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings, since he came into town in the last 3 years, they are 19-0 when they've either broken even or won the turnover margin. That stat absolutely blew my mind. And the NFL average, we just said 69% through 2 weeks. The NFL average in the last 3 years has been 66%. And just having a great defense certainly makes a big factor. Sam Darnold's done a great job keeping it clean. The Aaron Jones goal line fumble. We talked about it all week last week. Like, that game really could have blown out. It really could have gotten away from the San Francisco 49ers, especially that Aaron Jones goal line fumble. I love my former running back, and I don't want to say that'll never happen again, but I have a strong feeling something like that probably will not happen in the regular season, or at least for the foreseeable future. The Giants and the 49ers turned the ball over twice in the Vikings' first 2 games, all right? There's only 3 other NFL defenses that have forced more turnovers through the first 2 weeks than the Minnesota Vikings. And then finally, we have efficiency, all right? And Alec Lewis did a great job kind of getting into Bill Belichick and what he's been saying. And I gotta say, I love hearing Bill Belichick talk. Like, just hearing this dude talk, you just honestly learn so much. But the final number that I want to pinpoint from that article is 100, and that is Minnesota has converted in all 5 of their drives that have reached the red zone. All right, 3 of those were touchdown. 2 of those finished as field goals. Last year, the Minnesota Vikings scored on 80.4% of their red zone trips. That doesn't sound terrible, but that was a below average mark. That was, once again, better than only 2 teams in the National Football League ranked 30th. So Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell, everybody's really just chipping in, whether it's offensively or defensively, whether it's names or just groups of players. Everybody's done a phenomenal job. And I'm from the Chicagoland area. I got a Bears channel, even though I'm a Packers fan. Super weird. Long story. Started with my buddy, but I keep a close eye on Bears games because I've watched them my entire life, because I'm a Packers fan living in Chicago, and Stream East didn't always exist. Thankfully, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers kind of took care of national football media coverage. But my point just is, Houston just scored 19 against the Bears defense. The Bears defense is extremely good, as you guys are all aware of, but I'm just saying, like, Minnesota's getting a lot of hype right now for both their offense and their defense. This is going to be, like, on paper, judging the Vikings' first 2 games, people are thinking this can be a close matchup, but I still don't really think people are given the benefit of the doubt for the deep, advanced analytical statistics. Just playing really good football, playing really good defense, keeping it clean, being efficient, being effective. This Vikings team, the sky's the limit at this point in time. So just kind of a little bit of a Friday night hype video. I think I got to go finish building my TV stand. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Give me a score prediction for Sunday's matchup against the Houston Texans down below. And hopefully we'll see you 48 hours from now, less than 48 hours from now, with a victory recap Vikings video.